So we're inside the farmhouse, which is attached to where the pigs, some of the chickens are. Designed World War One era. Would have been a son's bedroom. I like how there's a school photo there even. Isn't this quite a little turn of a century room? Ooh. So this is all part of the original estate before it was a museum. Used to be the farm that essentially worked as part of a castle estate, the castle holdings. So, oh, you are big. Much bigger than the ones that I'm used to seeing. Iron Age Welsh dwellings from before the Romans. I assume because they're Iron Age anyway. So these are based on archaeological excavations up in northern Wales, the Anglesey, Isle of Anglesey. I think I meant to go on that one. So it's modeled on wealthy wealthy farmers essentially, and they know this because they can find evidence of trade to obtain salt, which wouldn't have been locally acquired. It's quite imposing. It's quite a large structure, but it also blends in with everything around it. Very interesting. Model T Ford car engine repurposed to run the sawmill. Coming up on the church again from a different angle, you can imagine how back in the 1200s when it was built, it would really stand out on the surrounding area. Uh, 400 meters to the north, so I'm guessing it's the direction that, yeah, there's a map to the left. Decisive battle, but it doesn't tell me who won. I'm gonna assume the parliamentarians, because they ended up winning. They've got this little thing here as well, where the battle would have taken place. The Royalists were defeated by the parliamentarians. So the Royalists are on the left. The parliamentarians are all here. What is the building? What is the building? What kind of building is this? This is actually really interesting. It's a tithe barn. So when you had to pay 1/10 of your income to the church, the tithe, the tithes were collected in sheds like these. Originally with a thatched roof, not a tiled roof as well. Should mention. This is our post-World War II prefab. Bathroom. Why is that there? This is the back of the prefab, and it makes a lot of sense that you would have, after all the campaigns about growing your own veggies during World War II, your own veggie patch. Uh, 1800 mining town. Check out those stairs. And then we're 20 years later. We're sort of jumping ahead to the 1900s here. Because we've got, I'm assuming that's World War One sort of era. World War II era. Apparently at this point they had created a cutting-edge game of cards. Not sure what game this is meant to be though. Oh, they even got a TV. I think it must be 60s then, 50s. Gonna live in the 80s, the 80s. Dog. Still got the same staircase. Oh, family meals. Wait, so this is your dining area. This is your basin for washing stuff. Oh, Royal Tour, 1985. But you also have your bathtub in here, which doubles as an extra bench. Just look at that. Lovely. Alright, I got like 15 minutes, so I can't do any reading. Even though I'd like to do some reading. Why you look ever so cranky? Ooh. Check out this room. That is actually amazing. But where is the head chef? He's watching over you. A magic gate. So they obviously used to have a little gatehouse here. For whatever reason, they decided to put this in. Adventures from St Fagans back to the Cardiff network, Cardiff bus network, to save about £2. Here we go. Oh, journey through the Welsh countryside. Is St Fagans part of Cardiff or not? I mean, they do have bus service, but it's like the regional bus, it's not the Cardiff. Well, hopefully through there we're gonna get back to the suburban bus and save a little bit of money, hopefully. Also, here in the UK, this counts as a public footpath. Vague trail. On my way here, I went through all that forest on quite a wide path. I bet you this is not signed. I feel like... Hold on. Let's get to the... Whoop, muddy. Get to the main path, which I'm pretty sure is this one. No sign. So I think I went left here because that looks like the biggest, the widest trail. There's also that one. But I should have gone this way. I mean, from here though, that just looks like a fence with the way the logs are. I wouldn't have guessed that. It's only because I came the other way. I know that this was the way in the first place. Anyway. This... I'm guessing it used to be a farmer's field. I suspect won't be for too much longer. I was wondering if I'd get this view earlier. Turns out, depends which way you go. If you are like me and you want to save about £2. If you are in this area, for some reason you're watching this video, that's your landmark. That's where you can rejoin the suburban bus network, essentially. 20-minute walk or thereabouts. Saves you, I mean, it probably saves you more than 2, to be honest. Probably like maybe 4, because you'd have to buy a bus ticket on the different system. Oh, this gate. National Museum, that was my backup for today. It's closed on Monday, so I couldn't go yesterday. If you are in Cardiff, it's closed on Mondays. And then we're gonna have, I'll go up so I get the people in the shot. Town Hall, very impressive. It's just gone 6 o'clock, we just missed the bell, but that's whatever, I'm not bothered. And I'm not sure about the background building, but the foreground little statue is the South Africa, the Boer Wars Memorial, when the British went to invade the Transvaal Republic, and I think there's an Orange Free State, those kinds of places. Shout out to this dude here for recording a video and playing it back right now. Maybe we can do some sort of cross promotion. Although this one's probably not coming out till 3 months later. That's about how long it'll take. Oh no, he's not happy with it. That's fine. Anyway, this is... Oh, it's a snack zone. It's a meal deal. It's a Sainsbury's meal deal zone. This brand of iced tea I'm not impressed with. Tastes like... Oh, it's because it's black tea. Okay, no, that's fair. I didn't read the label properly. So the black tea, yeah, that's why it tastes not as peachy as I was expecting. Anyway, this guy is 100% fixing his hair. I'm not that brave. I like to set up, record. Bro, you can fix it in post. You can fix everything in post. Maybe it's a school project. Anyway, time to eat. Alright, as we look at the closed National History Museum, go past Cardiff Town Hall. Unity and patriotism, but it's in English. This side of the town hall says poetry and music. Sort of as an outsider, when you first think of Wales, you think like, oh yeah, they're British. They've been British for longer than the Scots, or like taken over by England, I guess. And you sort of have to think about like the Scottish, basically England gets rich off the oil in the North Sea, which is off Scotland Sea. This is the South African monument. Let's walk down here, try to work out what this building is. And you wonder about like Welsh separatism. Obviously with the Welsh language, I mean even here, right? Oh yeah, at the bottom. I don't know, you can't really see that. Oh, postbox, here we go. The Welsh language being everywhere except Tim Hortons. You think about like Welsh separatism, and you end up going to the museums and things. You hear about like the flooding of the Welsh town up in the north to make drinking water for Liverpool. All the rebellions they had to have. You think about how like there's a coal mining disaster, landslide, stuff like that. You get like repeated shots of history where you look at it and you have to acknowledge that if the Welsh were self-governing, they would do things differently. And they do get disadvantaged. Maybe not like every single decision that gets made, but like the English will always put the English first. Which is kind of where I think the separatism, the idea of an independent Wales sort of comes from and stems from. I don't think that's going to go away, because history doesn't forget. Cardiff itself, interesting place. Let's see what this monument says. Not nearly as old as I would have first imagined. I like the detail on here. Mostly Cardiff got big because of a coal boom, late 1800s. And before then, I'm not sure what the biggest city would have been in Wales. Certainly inland more, the mining towns are a lot more significant than Cardiff. But Cardiff became the main port, which I think is also why in Cardiff itself there's not quite as much Welsh patriotism. You go to like, I think it's pronounced like Irwydfa, Mount Snowdon. If you go around Clonberis, for instance, you certainly get the feeling that all the locals, they just want to be locals. They just want to preserve their language, they want to speak their language, they want to preserve their customs. But the prevalence of English getting everywhere, it's sort of like, I don't know if insidious is quite the right word, pervasive, pervades their daily life. Just the fact that it's necessary to put everything in English. So yeah, would like to be back one day. Probably won't be here anytime soon though. Got a long journey to go on.